Yeah, so to put it into perspective, there are actually around 1 million HDB flats in Singapore.
Wow! What happens when my HDB is nearing 99 years? Am I going to be homeless? This is 99 Perspectives and we're going to talk about that today. Hi everyone, I'm Eliani and welcome back to another episode of 99 Perspectives. So this week, we're going to answer the question of what happens when my HDB is nearing 99 years. Do I move out? What happens next? So don't worry, we're going to answer all these questions and concerns today together with our very own content writer, Farouk. Okay, so Farouk, today is your first cameo, right, in our YouTube channel. So maybe you want to introduce yourself to our viewers first?
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Farouk. I'm from 99co's editorial team. So what I do is I cover new launch show flat reviews, and I'm also in charge of the content on the 99co portal.
Farouk, I think there's a lot of uncertainty behind this overarching question. It's quite apparent that homeowners do not know what to do when their flats are nearing 99 years, including myself also. So maybe you want to set the context for us first?
Yeah, so I think what you have to understand is that land in Singapore, right, there are three types of tenures. So first is the 99 years, which you already know. Then secondly is the 999 years. And thirdly is freehold. So there's another category of 103 years property, but we usually lump them together with 99 years. What happens when you purchase a HDB, right? They usually tell you it's 99 years leasehold, right? So what happens is that after the 99 years, your property will actually be returned back to the state, and then the value will be like almost practically zero lah. Some fun facts, over 70,000 of flats in Singapore have already reached the halfway mark to the 99 years, which means in the next 50 years or so, we'll be able to see these flats reaching the 99-year mark lah. Yeah, so to put it into perspective, there are actually around 1 million HDB flats in Singapore.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so for residents in this halfway mark, probably a good time for them to think about what to do next.
Just recently, there's a lot of buzz around this Mo Kio SERS. Maybe you want to explain to our viewers what exactly is this?
Yeah, so SERS is actually Selective Bloc Redevelopment Scheme. So it was introduced in 1995 and it's meant to rejuvenate older housing estates lah. So what it does is that it provides residents with compensation based on valuation of their flat, as well as rehousing benefits as well lah. So these benefits will actually vary according to the resident situation. But interestingly, right, neither HDB nor the Ministry of National Development has explicitly stated that by undergoing SERS, you're actually renewing your lease.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's understood lah. Like if you get into SERS, means that your flat will restart the 99-year lease. Yeah. So what happens with the Mo Kio SERS was that residents from 4 flats in Mo Kio were actually asked to relocate lah to another spot in Mo Kio.
Okay,
yeah.
It's nearby lah.
Yeah, it's actually like maybe like a street away
from
the original place. Yeah.
But that sounds kind of great, right? I mean, you get to reset your 99-year lease and you get a fresh lease. But why were some of these residents unhappy? Or were they like concerned? What's the situation there?
Yeah, so it sounds good, right? At first.
Yeah.
But actually, residents were actually concerned lah because they had to top up additional money for the new flats, and these flats are maybe smaller than what they used to have. And if they want to live in the same type of flat that they used to live, they have to top up more lah. So can you imagine like you spend the whole, maybe half of your life paying for the house, then suddenly someone asks you to leave your house and move somewhere, then you'll be like,
you have to top up more money.
It's not even like, you're not even getting any money or just status quo lah. Yeah, so what happens is that the government actually listened to all this feedback. So they weighed their options and they provided the option of a 50-year lease instead of a 99-year lease. So this way the residents don't have to top up anything, and they can still live in their home for another 50 years lah.
Ah, yeah. Okay. But do you think that homeowners have their HDBs nearing the 99 years, they should wait for SERS to happen or no?
I think you shouldn't wait for SERS to happen no matter what. Because firstly, it doesn't happen very often. And secondly, we don't know the criteria for SERS lah.
So does it mean it's an older flat, confirm SERS will happen?
Because there's so many older flats, right?
That's
so which
true.
one will the government pick? Yeah, so only they will know, or only time will tell lah.
Based on your luck also. Really?
Yeah, so I guess, like I said, you shouldn't wait, right? But then, again, it also depends on your profile. Let's say, if you're already getting on in years, and you already live in the same estate for many, many years, you most likely just want to stay put lah. With or without SERS lah. So in this case, you pray that SERS doesn't happen, because if not, it'll be inconvenient. Maybe you have to top up more, and then you already spend all of your life savings paying for your house. Yeah, but if you just move into your flat for a few years, let's say it's a resale flat, you might want to consider resale options with longer leases. The moral of the story is to better sell now than later when the value depreciates.
That's true. So Farouk, if SERS is not 100% guaranteed like what you mentioned, right? So what other options do homeowners have?
So there are a few options. I think the first one is the lease buyback scheme. So what happens here is that your lease hasn't ended yet, but you already sell part of it to HDB.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get some money to your CPF for retirement income.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But one thing to note here is that you're not actually extending your lease lah. So what you're doing is having better control of where you're gonna stay when you're older. Yeah.
But what happens if you outlive that lease?
Yeah. So if that happens, the government will actually find ways to support you lah. So I think you don't have to worry about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So another option that homeowners have is VERS, which is a voluntary early redevelopment scheme. So just to note that this hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
But PMA has already announced it in the 2018 National Day Rally lah. So what happens is that selected flats which are 70 years or older can undergo a redevelopment scheme only if the homeowners agree to it.
Okay.
Yeah, so they need to vote and they have to have 80%
Approval.
before they can actually give the flat back to the government lah. So if at least 80% of the homeowners agree, right, then the government will buy back the flats from it and they will get a sum of money. But this sum of money will not be as much as SERS lah. And it definitely won't be enough for you to find another home. So for now, you don't know the compensation yet lah. But
Because it hasn't happened yet. Also.
but the good thing is you get some money lah, at least before your flat turns to 99. Let's say you never opt for VERS, then your flat goes to 99, then you get 0. So might as well you opt for VERS, right, and get some money back.
Wow, Farah, I didn't know we have all these options. Okay, I think it's best if we break it down to 2 life stages of a leasehold property. So let's focus on the 30 years and the 60 years mark. So what should you do during this time? So let's start with the 30 years mark. So roughly your property will have around 60 plus years left, right? So what do you have to prepare for during this time?
I think at this point, right, when there's still 69 years left on your lease, I think there's actually not much cause for concern because the value won't have depreciated that much lah. So I think you can also see from the news, right, all the resale flats.
Yeah, they are fetching really high prices.
They were completed in 1980s, 1990s, they're
Correct.
still fetching high prices, right? So I think there's not much concern yet. So the decision I would say is up to you whether or not you want to sell or continue staying in your house. Ultimately, it's a personal decision lah. If you are older, you might want to consider selling your home and downsizing for a smaller flat because maybe you might have bought the house when you had kids and then your kids moved out already.
Yeah, I think it's also best to see what future developments that
Yeah.
are in the area.
Correct.
And if you actually see yourself living there, you can actually check it out on the URA master plan. So if you are unsure of which developments are coming up. But let's take Jurong, for example, right? There's the Jurong Lake District, Jurong Region Line, the hustle and bustle.
Yeah, too many things.
Yeah, correct. So if you prefer to stay in a much quieter area, then I think it's best you move out. In fact, you might even be able to fetch a higher price because your
Correct.
buyers might be young couples who have the purchasing power. They want to probably stray away from the cookie cutter BTO layout.
Correct, yeah.
They want the versatility, they want the creativity to design a bigger home as well. But if you are undecided, if you don't know whether you want to sell your property or not, you can actually check out our 99.co property value tool to see the current value of your home.
Yeah, or even if you're searching for a place elsewhere in a new estate, you can actually look at our listings. You can filter it down by MRT stations or even neighborhoods and whatnot. Even filter your budget that you want for your
Yes.
house. So I think not just older couples but even for younger couples who want to sell, right, I think they might want to take this as an investment opportunity. So sell it when your flat still has a lot of lease left and if it's in a good location, has amenities, maybe near to good schools, you might actually fetch a higher price than what you bought it for. Yeah, and especially like you said, if the young couple don't want to stay in the center of attention, they can also sell it to another young couple who might value all this hustle and bustle.
Yeah, the amenities, maybe
correct.
close to MRT stations,
Yeah.
maybe they love that, right?
Yeah. So for young couples, even if they sell, they might be able to fetch a good price and then they can use that money to buy a resale flat which has an even better lease. So let's say they are eyeing that flat that just MOP because you still have 94 years left on the lease.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that would be a good way to tide them through their older years lah. Or another option is to actually consider buying BTO. Yeah, I think most people won't consider this because after you buy a resale flat, why would you go to
Go
BTO?
back, to BTO.
BTO, right? So if you don't mind going through the whole process again, you can actually check out
The
our
balloting
Do we
process.
have a BTO video?
Yeah,
on
we
it?
always do, guys. Check it out.
Yeah, so if you don't mind going through the whole process again and if you're very sure of your requirements, then I think there's no harm trying for a BTO again. I mean, after all, it's another fresh 99-year lease and that will ensure that you have your house maybe forever. Last but not least, if you have the money, you can actually upgrade to a freehold property. It can be like a landed property or even another condo that's freehold. So that will ensure that you won't have to worry about the 99-year lease anymore.
Okay, so for the 30 years mark, there's a lot of possibilities, right? But I think a lot of people should be concerned with the 60 years mark because it's nearer, like my property is old, like what should I do with it, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely nerve-wracking. So what do you advise?
You're right to say that because I think the oldest flats in Singapore are now nearing 60 years. Most of them were completed in the 1960s. But what I'm assuming here is that most of people living there are actually of the older generation, because for young couples to actually buy flats that are older, they might not get the full extent of the HDB loan. Yeah, so the advice I'm giving now is for those who are in the older generation. So I think the first option is the lease buyback scheme, which I talked about earlier. Yeah, I think that ensures that before the lease runs out, they actually sell it back to HDB.
Yes.
And then they can get some retirement money for their older years. Yeah, so even if they outlive the lease, right, at most the government will help them find
Another accommodation.
another accommodation. Yeah. A second option is actually to just wait for verse, because I think it's 10 more years.
But it's a gamble, guys, okay?
Yeah, so it's a gamble.
Yeah, it's a gamble.
The caveat is that you can wait for verse, you can get some of the money back, but at the end of the day, you might never know whether or not your flat might be picked for verse or not. Yeah.
And we also don't know the criteria of us.
Correct. So that remains to be seen.
Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Hope we have addressed all your concerns, your worries. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you, Farouk, for being here. You are so amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week. Bye!
Bye.